Hello and welcome to Ukraine Today. My name is Peter Byrne. Today we're joined by two men from Architecture Ukraine. They're the curators of the program, Rowbotham and Krists Ernstsons. Welcome to the program.
Hi.
How do you do?
I read the description of initiatives and the Initiatives Foundation before you came to the offices today. Can you tell the audience what this foundation is, how long it's been working in eastern Ukraine, what happened before and after the war, and just give us a brief rundown.
Okay. Chris?
Well, the initiative is called Izolyatsia. It started in 2010 in an old factory that actually used to produce insulation, and that's where the name comes from. Mm-hmm. It is a cultural foundation, but it's called Izolyatsia Platform for Cultural Initiatives. So it's a broad scope of, I would say, events or a program. So it's exhibitions, performances, installations. We also act as I would say, a small educational center, I guess. So it started in 2010. 4 years down the line in Donetsk, we were, how would you say that word, seized? We were seized by the separatists, so we had to relocate. And now we are here already for a year in Kyiv, in exile.
Mm-hmm. Are you a grant-giving organization or a grant-receiving organization?
Both.
Both. And when we talk about the number of projects that the foundation runs here in Ukraine, is it just Architecture Ukraine, or are there other projects?
There are definitely other projects, and they run in parallel or sequentially. And we started initially in Donetsk as an outreach organization. We wanted to connect the community to the nation and international communities. So that was one of our key objectives. And we started to do that, and within 4 years we had a rolling program of events, international artists, and local community leaders, all participating in this sort of kind of jamboree of facility and opportunity. It was about opportunity.
How have your activities changed since the Russian invasion of Ukraine? I mean, what do you do now differently than what you did in 2010?
Yeah, the main change was the fact that our territory or the site was taken over. So suddenly from having huge amounts of space, we ended up having no space. So obviously that had a large impact on the activities that we do. Another obstacle was the fact that a lot of the equipment and a lot of the infrastructure that we had invested in making the place function was suddenly gone. So basically we had to start many things from zero again.
And we were the authors of our own space. You know, that's what our prime job was as architects and planners, was to redevelop the site and actually turn around buildings that had become redundant into something functional. So that was really our main objective as architects.
Right.
But also I think program-wise we have changed a little bit as well, no? From maybe being very focused on art and installations, maybe more towards education and social projects lately.
Right, because well, one of the things that I read on your website was a recent visit, or maybe not so recent, to Mariupol by residents, they're called. And I went to a couple of their blogs and looked at their pictures and the descriptions of what they had seen and what their impressions were. Was that a successful project? Is that going to be in the pop-up box?
That's what the subject was, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be about that project.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're going to pick the best bits from what these residents did and highlight them.
Yeah, I think one of our key objectives was to bring another view of architecture. And it's a process that is not necessarily that familiar to Ukraine. And we wanted to broaden the scope of architects by initiating studies on the socio-democratic, socio-economic issues that surround Mariupol. Apart from anything else, we also wanted to understand the urban environment, the built environment there, what motivates people, how it's changing. It's in fact a shrinking city.
Geographically, though, your activities were specifically targeting Donbas, not Western, you don't do anything in Berlin or Western Ukraine?
Not really, no.
Not really.
But we have international activities as well, so we're not just a foundation.
What are they?
So we have done shows in Paris, for example, in Prague, was the last one.
Yeah. Showcasing our situation, the fact that we were kicked out, really communicating about the conflict and our position in it.
What other projects do you have on the drawing board? Looking, I don't know, 5 years ahead. Let's take the long view.
Yeah, that's a long view.
Or 2 years. I mean, we can shorten it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really want to, at the moment, we've got a sort of a split within the organization in the sense we have a sort of commercial side and a cultural side. The commercial side is about initiating opportunities for small startups in the realms of art and culture. So we're providing space for people, for local people, and subsidizing that so that they get a chance to practice and develop their skills. So that's one side.
Right.
Then culturally, we're looking to exhibit local artists, bring international artists in, a whole gambit of things, such as initiating a dance program, the Donbas studies that we're doing, which basically it's a research into the Donbas region, bringing together a whole reference library of information, which hasn't really been done previously, and cataloguing that, and so that it becomes accessible to a broad audience.
Where do you base yourselves now? Is it in Kyiv or in Mariupol or not on the line of demarcation?
Personally, or?
No. Well, do you have an office in Kyiv?
In Kyiv, yes.
And how often do you go to Ukraine?
Not that often, to be honest.
Not that often.
We'd love to go back to Donetsk, but I don't think it's achievable, actually.
But apart from the Architecture Ukraine project, we actually have other initiatives in Mariupol going on. So there are other team members that do travel, I would say once a month or twice a month, and we actually have a representative of the foundation in Mariupol as well.
That was my next question. You two are curators. Are there only 2 curators for the Izolyatsia Foundation, or are there?
No.
There are a lot
we
more.
are specifically curators of this Architecture Ukraine project, which is all about architecture and the built environment, as Rick explained.
Right.
But obviously there are different curators for different projects that Izolyatsia runs.
And this foundation is a registered NGO here in Ukraine, or is it a foreign NGO working here in Ukraine?
It's a registered NGO.
Registered.
It's a not-for-profit organization.
Right, and but you don't give money to people per se. You facilitate, you provide.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a service, but you use a grant or you use
Yeah,
monies to achieve the end that you're looking for.
I think it's a combination of things. We provide facility in the first instance,
right.
a resource, and then we also provide the opportunity for outreach links, you know, to the international circuit and communities, as well as the sort of broader national opportunities that we can bring to people that haven't been exposed to that.
Right. Do you find that because of the war and the situation, which doesn't seem to be getting a lot better, there's been more interest in specifically the work that you all are doing here on the part of artists and architects internationally? Have you been contacted by people who see what you're doing, are interested in this?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think we created a big noise about the fact that we were kicked out. And there was a lot of publicity surrounding that. And part of these initiatives that Krists mentioned, going to Paris and Prague, was to really broaden that message into Europe.
And I think
America.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can cut this. And apart from that, I also think that the Architecture Ukraine project actually worked at an international level, because we had actually 10 very established and well-known experts come and talk and give advice to the residents who stayed here. So they brought the message also back to wherever they live. And they were very keen on on continuing collaboration.
Do they actually come to Ukraine and work here in Ukraine with the Ukrainian artists?
They came for small workshops, so somewhere 4 days, somewhere 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
That was vital, I think, to the program, because it meant that we were able to expand people's understanding of what we're trying to do through international speakers who empathize with our position.
Do you have any projects that people who live in Kyiv can go and see or participate in?
Sure. Come.
What are they?
Straight away. We're just down the road. So we have opened the pop-up exhibition of the Architecture Ukraine first stage. So that is open right now for a month.
Where?
On our site. In the shipyard, Kyiv shipyard, just down the road. Naberezhna Lugova 8.
I think I've ridden by it on my bicycle.
Yeah. And what you can see there is actually the first draft or the concept ideas of the residents. So there's 9 projects in total. And the idea is that we would like to also send this pop-up exhibition to Mariupol and get the feedback from the community and see how we can take them further for the final show to open next summer.
Great.
For a publication to be ready.
And when is this exhibition going to be open? What hours? From 9 to... It's always open?
It's open Tuesday to Saturday, 12 to 8 p.m. Daily.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming to Ukraine today. This has been Peter Byrne for Ukraine Today. We've had a nice conversation with the curators of Architecture Ukraine, Rowbotham and Krists Ernstsons. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.